All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where Errol Spence Jr. has called out Shakur Stevenson for a fight with Frank Martin instead of Keyshawn Davis, who has been talking more and more about fighting Frank Martin. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where we are going to be talking about some of the best fighters in boxing that do not have belts. And specifically who I'm talking about is Errol Spence Jr.'s prodigy, one of the best lightweights in the world, Frank Martin, and Shakur Stevenson, who is somebody that is widely recognized as being one of the best fighters in the world, also one of the best prospects in the world coming up by the name of Keyshawn Davis, the Olympic silver medalist, all of which compete in the same 135-pound division that is currently being dominated by Gervonta Tank Davis in the bank and Devin Haney in the belts. But before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for continuing to check out the videos. Greatly appreciate all the support. Thank you for all your support in the super chats and in the super thanks of videos like this. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it's really a lot of really good boxing conversations that go on. But let's get into it, because last night on Twitter had a little back and forth going on between the parties that I just mentioned. And somebody had mentioned, or Keyshawn Davis, somebody had mentioned to Errol Spence Jr. that they wanted to see Frank Martin get in the ring with Keyshawn Davis. And Errol Spence Jr. responded and pointed something out and was like, I'd much rather see Frank Martin in with Shakur Stevenson, because quite honestly, they haven't even let that pup, referring to Keyshawn Davis, off the bottle yet, right? Shakur Stevenson responded with, I'm with it. Then Keyshawn Davis comes back and says, hey man, let me get him. Nah, big bro, let me get him. And then it ends with Keyshawn with Shakur Stevenson saying, yeah, I was just letting him know I'm with it. I'm really looking for the big fish in the division. So a couple things you can tell out of this. Shakur Stevenson is too nice of a guy. I'm going to say this over and over and over again. Dude, he's way, way too nice of a guy. He's in the same weight division as several friends of his, and he keeps letting people stick their hands on his plate, at least, and take food off of his plate. That's the way that I see it. You have, Devin Haney, who is the undisputed champion in the weight division, who is friends with Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson, although he has called him out, has never been very direct and very, very serious. I'm not saying he's not serious. Very direct and very explicit in saying, I want to fight that guy right there. And that is the fight that is absolutely positively most attainable for Shakur Stevenson. Now, Shakur Stevenson alludes to it in the tweet where he says, I'm looking for the big fish in the division. But look, man, Frank Martin is a big fish in the division. Frank Martin is now, after having beaten Michel Rivera, has proven that he is one of the best fighters in that lightweight division. And that is a very entertaining and a very, very interesting fight. And by the way, not an easy fight for Shakur Stevenson. That fight with Frank Martin is not something that Keyshawn Davis is going to be fighting or going to be getting for a while. Keyshawn Davis, while do not get me wrong, Keyshawn Davis is a very, very good fighter. He's a talented fighter, but I don't think Keyshawn Davis even has 5 fights yet. 10 fights yet. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have 10 fights. I think he's somewhere around 8 or 9 fights last time I checked, right? Now, admittedly, I don't keep these prospects the exact number of their fights on at the top of my head or the tip of my tongue. But I will tell you, I know for sure he's not stepped up. He just had his first micro step up fight in the last fight that he had. The guy that he just fought is nowhere near the level of fighter that that Frank Martin is. And that would be a gigantic leap. But as it applies to Shakur Stevenson, that is a fight you should be looking for. If you're trying to say that, you wanted to fight George Kambosos, and George Kambosos turned you down. If you say, okay, yeah, I would like to fight, Nakatani would be a good test for me. Dude, ain't no Nakatani or George Kambosos are the same level of fighter as Frank Martin is. And to say otherwise is kind of like, nah, man, I can't go with that. However, Shakur Stevenson, if he wants to go for the big dogs, has got to start specifically talking about fighting those guys. And that's Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. His most likely scenario, though, is to get the Devin Haney fight, because Gervonta Davis has Ryan Garcia. And Gervonta Davis has Ryan Garcia in April. More than likely, he's going to win that fight. But you don't know that he's going to go straight back, that he's going to go straight to Devin Haney after that. And matter of fact, I highly doubt it because of what's going on with Bob Arum. That fight right there, if Shakur Stevenson calls for that fight and asks for that fight enough, that very well may prevent Devin Haney from moving up to 140 pounds and vacating all those belts. Because as Devin Haney himself has proven with his situation that he's in relative to Gervonta Davis, that the belts themselves ain't going to make you any big star. And because you see what happened with Shakur Stevenson when Shakur Stevenson beat Oscar Valdez and he beat Jamel Herring. Being a unified champion in that division did not equate to him becoming a big superstar in the sport where now everybody wants to fight him. He's still a slick southpaw that has the ability to beat you that people may not necessarily, want to fight. Same type of situation that Frank Martin is in. So to me, I say, look, man, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and most definitely don't let somebody else walk up and try to stick their hand in your gift horse mouth and that be Keyshawn Davis. No, man. If Errol Spence Jr. is saying I would want to see him fight Shakur Stevenson, the way that you go about that, in my opinion, is you call Bob Arum and you say, hey, Bob, Frank Martin, Errol Spence Jr. said Frank Martin would fight me. So can Frank Martin come over to Top Rank? On a Top Rank, fight on a Top Rank card on ESPN, and I'll fight Frank Martin. And that is definitely an American, a two American matchup. It's going to be, a lot of people are really going to be interested in that. There's a lot of more people than you think that are knowing and paying attention to who Frank Martin is. At least, around the circles that I talk boxing, people know who Frank Martin is. But, we'll see what happens. You let me know. That's my opinion on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.